do a reminder, everybody, if you have your cell phones on you, please put them to silent if you don't mind. I call the meeting to order. It is 5 o'clock, June 5th, Corey Beach Club. I can verify that the meeting notice requirements were met, and a verification of quorum. We do have 4 or 5 board members. Roger Gifford is out of town. We excuse his absence. I'd like a motion from the board for approval of previous minutes of the May 8th, 2017 meeting. May I have a first? Second. All those in favor? Motion passes unanimously. First order of business we'll get to is the manager's report. I'm going to touch on a couple items real quick. Some things that the board just approved that you're going to see taking place in the community. We've got 2 paver projects that are going to take place out and around the beach club. The first one is the backside of the pool deck going from the Q bar to the pool by the bridge area, that whole backside area where the expansion didn't take place. We've got a lot of root intrusion in those pavers, causing a lot of uneven trip hazards. There are even some pavers that you can pull out by hand and you can view the root system starting to grow from the palm trees underneath. We're doing 2 things. The first thing we're going to do is have a company called Keystone Pavers come out, pull out all the pavers. They're going to grind up the entire area, rip out the roots, put a new base layer of sand down, reset the pavers, and put a sand layer back on top. And then through our landscape contractor, we're going to put a bio barrier around all those royal palms around that section of the pool deck to stop that from happening again, so we don't have to do it again in another 10 years. One of the other issues that we've got with pavers, we have an area over here on the side that the board approved the expansion of the walkway right here for about another 5 feet right after this column. It's a little tight in that area there. A lot of folks just walk through the bushes anyways, so we're just going to extend the pavers there. There's a drainage project on the back side of the pool deck. We noticed after construction that that would be the northeast corner of the pool deck. It would wash out during heavy rains, and throughout the whole summer eventually just the back corner of the pavers washed out. We're going to have a drainage system installed and a barrier put up to prevent the pavers from washing out. This is going to be a reserve project. This will happen in the next couple of weeks. Cintron will do the work for that. Just recently, the board approved our annual tree trimming project. Johnson Tree Service is going to be starting next Monday. They're going to be hitting all the common areas and all the single-family home sites. The project could take anywhere from 3 to 4 weeks. They will be around. If they hit your house or if they do a section that looks like they missed it, reach out to the office. We'll get back in touch with them and have them go back. A couple of staff updates real quick. Roger Kintz was a major maintenance person that was here for a while. Roger retired about a month ago. We've been looking and actively looking to fill his position. We just recently hired a gentleman named Leo. I can't pronounce his last name, so I don't want to massacre it. He started today. Fantastic hire. He's been working for First Service for several years, actually, as a floating maintenance tech, and we're able to bring him in-house starting today. Halen as well, fortunately, has left us as well, too. She moved on to work at a doctor's office as a nursing assistant. Good for her. I think it's what she wants to do with her career. We have since filled the position with Billy Joe Parker. Billy Joe has an extensive hospitality experience working front desk. I think she's going to be a great fit. So, see the new faces, say hi, and welcome to the Quarry. With that, I'm going to turn it over for the treasurer's report. Okay, Jerry.
Good evening. Can you hear me in the back?
Yeah.
Great. Great. Okay, can you go to the next slide, please? Okay, I'm just going to answer 2 questions today. I want to tell you how we did in the month of April. We do a forecast for the remainder of the year by month, so we'll let you know how we're doing and what impact the results of April and what we're seeing in May might have for what we think about the full year. Okay? And remember, this is a learning process for us, just like it is for you. Okay, I keep putting less and less rows on these slides in the hope that it gets bigger and people in the back can see it. So Can you see most of it at least?
Yes.
Great. Okay, so I'll just walk you through it. The top half is the revenue section. And the only thing that should be any surprise to us is how we're doing in food and beverage, but a great job by Adam and Glenn forecasting what we're going to do in April. We were very close. We just sold about $8,000 less in food in April than we thought, and beverage sales were up, but in total, no surprises here. So revenue should be pretty straightforward each and every month. On the expense side, again, a lot of items here, but they all cancel out. No big surprises other than we had some catch-up legal expenses for the work that the board is doing on the 588 project, and we had a bunch of legal bills hit in April. Cost of sales was the one thing that we're really looking at hard. That was higher than we expected, even on lower sales. So beverage and food, the cost of that is running higher than we had projected. That's the big difference. So if you look at the total in terms of where we came out for the month, we lost $30,000 for the month. Our forecast was $23,000, but $5,000 in round numbers was really a prior year, and it was really just a reversal of a prior month entry. So apples to apples, we were really very close. $25,000 that we thought that we actually lost versus $23,000 that we projected. So it was really good in terms of accuracy, but trust me, that was more luck than skill. Don't expect to see that every month. Okay, the next slide, please, Adam. So we take our learnings and we look at where we're going to be for the full year. And what it says now is, just to get to the bottom line, I know that's where your biggest interest is, it says we're going to lose $260,000 for the full year. If you recall, last month I said $235,000, so it's gone up by $25,000. And we're not going to change the forecast each and every month if we see $2,000 or $3,000 or $4,000 difference one way or another. But if it's $20,000 or $25,000, we'll share it with you, okay? Hopefully we have some means to make up some of that difference. We'll get some positive surprises, but we're in a very slow period here for the next few months. But otherwise, everything is pretty close to what we thought. The biggest difference, again, we were short a little bit in April. We know we'll be short a little bit in May in food and beverage, and we got a little bit more conservative on that. And we also raised the outlook for what the cost of goods sold for food and beverage will be for the remainder of the year, which is a reflection of what our actual experience now that we're getting more and more information. It's not to say we're not going to work together to focus on those things to try to bring it back, but this is where we believe we'll be at this point in time.
What's in all other?
All other, the biggest piece of all other is an expense of $108,000, which is what we do to fund the reserve. So it's an expense here and it's a revenue in there. So that's the biggest piece. The other item that's in all other, I believe, is insurance. And those are the two big items. Okay, so that's what I wanted to share with you. It's a lot shorter than last time. Hopefully you get used to it. And, the goal is to be transparent so there's no surprises for anyone. And just the balance sheet, just to let you know, we did a lot of work. This is all the result of the effort of Jackie and the Finance Committee. I may be up here talking, but it's the whole committee that's spending a lot of time looking at the operation to get a good handle on where we've been and where we're headed. We also looked at the cash flow, the balance sheet. That's been completed, and Jackie's going to talk about a line of credit where we are in that. A heads up, we're going to be looking at accounts receivable. In any given month, we have a few $100,000 of accounts receivable. We're starting to look at what's over 90 days, and we'll be putting a policy in place of collecting it. Right now, there's no interest on late collections. There's no late fees. There's nothing. And if you look at a lot of the other communities, they all have that. So we need to put that in place. It's one of those leaks that we have to plug up. Okay? The reserve study has been completed. I don't know if that's on the agenda or not, so I guess it'll be next time. But that is what I wanted to share with you. So with that, I'll turn it over to Cheryl or whoever goes, Jackie. Thank you. We'll do questions at the end. That's the routine.
It's on.
Can you hear me? Okay. So what we're going to talk about today, this could be a little lower, Adam, if you could, but we're going to talk about the QCA line of credit. Back at the end of February, the February 20th meeting, I did refer to this, and at the end of April, we have in the bank $256,000. And with the projection that Jerry just showed, there's not going to be a lot of money left at the end of the year. So what the board was interested in doing is coming up with, or securing a line of credit. With the assistance of First Service Residential, we actually received a commitment letter approximately 2 weeks ago. And the lender that is going to provide us a line of credit is Valley National Bank. The loan amount is a $500,000 line of credit, and the interest rate on the line of credit is the Wall Street Journal prime rate plus 25 basis points. So the rate basically as of today would be 4.25% on any money that we would potentially borrow from the bank. Fees associated with the loan, there's a one-time commitment fee of 1,125 points, which is less than 25 percentage points or 25 basis points, which I think is a really reasonable number. I thought it was going to be at least $2,500, so First Service was really helpful in getting us a good deal on that. Repayment terms are it's interest only until the loan is repaid, and there's a 30-day cleanup period, which means over the course of a 1-year period of time, let's just say we borrow $200,000, for a 30-day period of time, it has to be paid down to zero, basically. The purpose of the loan is primarily, it is totally to use for normal operating expenses to keep the HOA running. We asked the Finance Committee, the board specifically reached out to the Finance Committee and asked for them to put some guidelines and protocols in place so no one was concerned where the money was going and how it was being used. They came up with a specific guideline to say that the funds cannot be used to fund capital projects, reserve-type projects, nor items not included in the adopted annual budget. They also indicated that funds cannot be used in lieu of increasing the annual assessments or a special assessment. So the bottom line really is the line of credit is to be used to meet cash flow shortfalls due to the seasonality of the quarry's revenue and expense streams. It is not to be used to compensate for annual losses, thereby eroding increases to assessments. There's a provision in the loan that requires an actual formal drawdown, and how that will work is Adam will send a request to me to say that we need to draw down dollars. From there, I have to put a request into the bank, and then another officer of the QCA actually has to co-sign the drawdown so that I can't just go and borrow the money myself. One of the other board members has to co-sign it with me. And then one of the other requirements that the Finance Committee came up with is that there's a monthly flash report that Adam provides us, which provides different variances and things that are abnormal for a month from 1 month to the next, or for 1 year from the following year. And Adam's going to provide on a monthly basis all this information on that report to the board, so they'll see anything that's been borrowed and any activity that's occurred. So that's pretty much it in a nutshell. I strongly feel we need to move forward with this, and I would like to make a motion that we do proceed with the line of credit as outlined here, and...
Do we need any discussion? No, you need a second first.
Yeah, we have to get a second first, so we go for discussion.
Say, I second the motion. Go ahead.
I'll second.
Want to open for discussion then? We'll do it
Now,
I would think we would want to open for discussion before we take a vote on it.
Okay. So we'll take discussion from the audience. Ma'am?
Is this a variable rate?
Yeah, because it's based on the Wall Street prime, plus 25 basis points. So if prime goes up 1%, then it's going to go up 1%, the Wall Street prime.
And is
Yeah.
there a cap on
Sorry?
that?
No, there's just a floor.
Yeah.
Just to be clear, there's going to be no survey done to the general population who was against this line of credit to begin with? It's just going to be something that's put up for a motion and then voted on? At the meeting about, I don't know, before the election, when this was brought up in the golf club, the overwhelming response of the audience was anti-line of credit. Are we not going to ask for input from the entire body of the board?
Everybody had an opportunity to input, this is my opinion, everybody had an opportunity to input at the previous meetings that we held. You indicate that the overwhelming majority said they were against it. Of the people who spoke, there might have been 6, 7, 8 people who spoke who said that they did not support that or they were concerned about it. But that wasn't representative of the entire population at the
Well, I
meeting.
think you're wrong. I think it's very much representative of the
Well, I see
February.
Jerry shaking his head, he agrees with me.
At the last meeting,
And I respectfully disagree with you. I was at the same meeting in Gulf Lodge, and my takeaway was an overwhelming support for this, and I'm one of those supporters. In this type of environment, cash flow is such seasonality that our governing body has to deal with in order for them to not have to have a bigger cash reserve in order to meet payrolls and different things that are important during these 6 months that 50–60% of our homeowners aren't here. A line of credit, to me as a homeowner, is a better way to handle that cash flow seasonality piece. And so I am very much a homeowner that is for this line of credit.
Anybody else from the audience? Rich?
I defer to the wisdom of the board, of course, but it just seems to me, if you liken this to a first aid situation, we've got a leg that's been cut off, and I'm talking about the hemorrhaging of money that we anticipate fully for the next 6 months, and are not really, we may be taking some incremental steps, but it's not going to stop the bleeding. We're putting the Band-Aid on by doing this line of credit, and it sort of defies logic to me that we're not moving expeditiously to hold the outstanding debt, those people accountable for making the rest of us who do pay our dues and our assessments on time. We're funding interest-free loan to them that I guess in their own mind's eye, they're hoping is going to go away and we'll forget about it. And it just seems out of whack to me. Thanks.
Hold on a second. Rich, on your response, it's true. When we got elected 4 months ago, we didn't know a lot that was going on. We're now creating a policy for the people that will not pay, and it's a ton of money that are delinquent. In order for us to function forward and make a policy so we can get our money back, we have to get this line of credit. I wasn't for it either until I got into this and found out what we had to deal with. But in order for us to maintain where we're going and the direction we're going, we have to do this before the policy can come in so we can get our money back. So that's where we're at on all this stuff. If we want to pay our bills and everything, we need to do this so that the policy can catch us back up and we won't have to do this anymore. That's why this is all coming up.
Yeah, I get that, and that's why I defer to the wisdom of the board, because you guys probably know a whole lot more than I know about it. But just on the face of it, it would appear to me as though they not only need to make us whole for the money that we're going to have to spend to get this line of credit, but they need to feel a little pain, a disincentive, if you will, for putting us through all this aggravation to begin with.
We agree with you totally, and believe me, there's things in place that are going to be taking place for that delinquent stuff. But at this point in time, we still need the boat still needs to float, and unfortunately, that's what we got to do.
Thank you.
How much is the delinquency now?
Well, we've got a couple different levels. Over 90 days is what we can start setting to legal is about 120,000. Current delinquency within the first 30 days was a little over 120, 130 as well too. That usually dries up, but to the point, what usually happens, folks for whatever reason don't pay within that first 30 days. I don't know why they just don't. And it leaves us at a cash flow deficit of $130,000 just sitting there that we need. And then it starts trickling in slowly but surely. Some of it doesn't, and it gets added to the 90. Some of the other 90 gets paid off. It's a cycle. So that's why it's good that we're getting a process going of getting a true collections policy in place to motivate folks. If you don't pay within that first 30 days, you're going to get hit with a penalty, 60 days penalty, 90 days automatic, goes straight to collections, goes straight to the board to sign off to go to the attorney. That whole process starts. It just hasn't been in place since, well, ever.
They need to be assessed the attorney's cost as well.
They are. Legally, they are.
That is in there.
And just kind of the interest rate should be at least as high as we're paying, maybe based on prime plus 5 or something. Yeah, that's ridiculous to make it really painful. You've got all these costs and all the headaches you've got to put for collecting.
I think the finance committee is going to come up with a policy for the board to review and then approve.
And they want to do it by July 1st, too. I mean, they wanted to do it tonight, but we kind of were rushing to do it, and we felt that we wanted to make sure all our ducks were in order. We didn't want to come up with a policy once and then rechange it the next month. We want to make sure it's the final policy that we're good to go with.
And we
And we
have
want to make
submitted,
sure our accountants okay it, as well as our attorneys, to make sure there's not a problem.
we have written up a couple of things, so it's a matter of waiting for the attorneys to complete it. Jeff?
Yeah, if I may have misunderstood you regarding the Finance Committee's limitations on how this reserve fund money would be spent. If one of our committees comes up with what we as a committee consider to be a very essential project, are you saying in effect that that additional money could not be used to fund that project?
Yeah.
Then how on earth are any viable projects going to be funded?
But we just have to plan for the next year. So if
Next year?
the landscaping committee wants to do something, we would have to do it in the budget in September for next year.
Okay, I was afraid of that.
Two questions. Number one, what was the basis you used to come up with $500,000?
Can you speak up, Mark?
What was the basis that you used to come up with $500,000? Number one. And number two, did I hear you say that the loan had to be zeroed out every 30 days?
No, what, a 30-day period over the course of 1 year.
Oh, okay.
So that's normal. I mean, when I used to work, we had the exact same loan.
Yeah,
It's
okay.
very
30
standard.
days over the course of the year.
I mean, that's like 2 months of operating expenses, basically. So, I mean, actually, we could have been a higher line of credit.
No, the reason I'm asking that, we keep showing a deficit each month in the $230,000. So why aren't we looking at $250,000 instead of $500,000?
You know, I don't know that it would make much of a difference. I mean, the commitment fee is such a small, it's not a significant amount of money. I don't know that it would make a difference.
Well, I'd say $500,000 is a significant amount of money.
You're not going to draw 500 if you only need 200.
200, right.
You're going to draw what you need.
I understand how a line of credit works.
Right.
Okay. What
So,
I'm saying though is when you have it, you're more likely to use it. And if we look and we say we've got a $250,000 problem, let's have a $250,000 line of credit. My question was, what was the problem that said it's using $500,000?
Okay. The fact that we have a 200 or whatever, 260,000 projected loss, that's different than what our month-to-month cash deficit might be. Okay, so you want to play and say, our projection could be, we can need more than that 260, and you want to have it in place. Now, it's the responsibility of the board not to draw it down, and that's why there are those provisions in there. It has to be something that we would normally spend on. The alternative is to get to a time where we don't have the cash, we don't have a line of credit, and then it's immediately a panic for a special assessment. You have no choice. We have to fund the business. This is the safest and it's the cheapest way to do it. The other thing I'd like to put in perspective, and I meant to say this, when I said, or when we forecast that the loss was going to be $260,000 this year, $40,000 of it is from last year. If you remember, last year we lost $400,000. If you add the 40, we lost $440 last year. We're projected to lose $220 this year. So whatever is being done, it's half as bad as it was last year. It's going in the right direction. And I know the board is committed to making it zero in 2018. We just got to give it time to get there, to really do a sensible budget where we have what we need. And this is like an insurance policy, so there's no panic. It's absolutely necessary. If we spend it on other things, then we're being derelict.
But my point is, a line of credit is an automatic draw. By that I mean, you don't have to come back to anybody. If you need the money, the board can go and draw money, which is what they should be able to do, okay, to operate. But if you set it if you set it where you think you should need it, you should be able to operate here. And if you need more, the board has the authority to borrow money. The board can go back and borrow money on top of that if they have to. Okay, but if that's the case, they have to bring it to a meeting, and they have to have a vote of the board. money from the line of credit, you don't need to talk to anybody else. You get the board.
Jerry, how much cash do we have? Right now? Yeah.
Well, we have like 256 at the end of April. I don't know what we
Yeah,
got.
256 at the end of April. So you're gonna dig into that? Are you gonna dig into that? Oh, yes.
Yeah, we're gonna use that first. I mean, it's really a safety blanket, just in case
I'd
we
like,
need to repay.
I'd like to add something. If we have a category 3 or 4 hurricane, and that would be a very good thing to have. I'd be uncomfortable now with that line of credit, because there's going to be a lot of things not insured. It's going to be, even if you had a special assessment, it would be 3 months before you got it from people. It's a necessity.
Tell them who you are, what committee you're on. Tell them your name and what committee you're on.
Jerry Williams, I'm on the insurance committee.
If anybody can stand up and talk, if they can use their name, that would be appreciated.
Anybody else? Tom?
Tom Schobach, how much of the 256 that we have in the bank are reserves? None of
None, we don't.
That's just
Reserves
all
are in addition.
separate. Yep.
Okay.
Anybody else before we move on?
Just
Tommy?
one quick one. On the, have you made projections as to how much your draws will be on the line of credit for the balance of the year? And what kind of interest cost does that represent?
You know, I think, Jerry, at the Finance Committee, Kevin tried to put a cash flow by month together, but I'm not sure if the Finance Committee is 100% comfortable with it yet. They have another meeting scheduled within the next 4 weeks or something, and they're going to try to plot that out. I don't know the timing of how long this is going to take. I mean, we have to sign the commitment letter. We have to get it to them by the end of the month, and then there's paperwork that has to get signed. So it may be another month before this gets even put into place.
So that from what you say, I'm assuming that the interest charges at the 4.25 are not included in the projected loss for this year.
No.
No, that'll be in addition. But the flip side of that is, you know, as Jackie said, we're not that comfortable on the cash flow forecast. We have to look at the contracts, what payment terms are, so we feel this is a safe amount. We're hoping we go nowhere near that. But to answer your question specifically, we're talking 500,000, 5% round numbers. If we borrowed it all for a year, it's $25,000. We're going to borrow a fraction of it for a small period of time in the remainder of this fiscal year. We're probably talking $5,000 to $10,000 impact. So it's not material to the numbers.
And you're also planning to roll those fees into the new cost of collection. So that should be a wash or even a positive for us in the long run.
Yes. Any other? Okay. We've had a first and a second. All those in favor from the board? Motion passes unanimously.
Great questions, by the way. Thank you.
Okay, I want to give an update on the Chapter 558 and the litigation process that we have in place. Just briefly, as you know, the QCA retained Volcanic LLC to represent, or LLP to represent the association in pursuing claims for construction defects affecting our common areas. And the QCA also hired a consultant based on the Council of Volcanic to conduct initial investigation of our property and determine the construction defects that need attention from the parties who constructed and developed the community. As reported at previous board meetings and communicated via email to Quarry homeowners, Volcanic filed an updated Chapter 558 notice to the Pulte Group on February 3rd of this year. And as reported at the QCA meeting, QCA board meeting on May 8th, and communicated via email to all Quarry homeowners, Given the results of the investigation and upon the advice of counsel, the QCA board authorized Volcanic to issue a pre-suit notice to the Pulte Group. So that's all things that hopefully you know up to this point in time. The new information is that the pre-suit process has ended, and on May 18th, the association filed a lawsuit against Pulte Group and its contractors in the 20th Judicial Circuit Court for Collier County. We reported at the last meeting that we intended to do that by May 12th. It was done on May 18th. The lawsuit is currently being served upon the defendants, and additional details pertaining to the nature of the association claims may be found in reviewing the Collier County court file, and I will tell you a little bit more about that at the conclusion of the discussion. A visual site inspection is scheduled to take place on June 21st, and the inspection will be attended by Pulte Group, some of the contractors involved in the construction of the community, and the association's engineering and legal team. The inspection will consist of observations only, and there will be no testing taking place on June 21st. A representative from Volcanic will also be on site to answer any questions from homeowners at that time. It is requested that homeowners refrain from speaking with any other investigation participants, since this case is in active litigation. During the pendency of the litigation, there may be additional investigation and possibly what's called destructive testing performed by either the association or the developer/contractor entities. Examples of the destructive testing include removing components of the roof system for the beach club or the tennis club to investigate improper roof installation. Another example would be removal of veneer on the bridge to investigate whether any damage occurred to other bridge components. And there are a host of other examples beyond that. The association's expert and/or the defendant's experts will produce specific testing protocols before any of that type of testing takes place. And further, all destructive testing areas will be repaired immediately after the investigation is complete. So again, on June 21st, that inspection will not involve, it's only going to be visual, it won't involve any kind of this type of testing and investigation. If that investigation of that type is necessary, the community will be notified that it's going to be destructive as currently defined in nature. And then a communication detailing this update that I just gave tonight is being sent tomorrow to all quarry homeowners